Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman and Ranking Member Craig, for the opportunity to speak at Members' Day. This morning, I speak on behalf of California, the constituents I represent in the 21st District, and the great, beautiful San Joaquin Valley that is one of the most productive agricultural regions in the entire country, therefore the world. I speak as a third-generation farmer. California's 70,251 farms and ranches are remarkably productive. Given the average size, 70% of these farms is less than 100 acres, 89% are less than 500 acres. And yet I represent, as a third-generation farmer, those individuals, those families that really put food on America's dinner table every night. And food is a national security issue. We don't treat it that way, I don't believe, often enough, but it is. Food on America's dinner table is a national security issue. And in California, the #1 agricultural state, we produce 50% of the nation's fruits, nuts, vegetables, 20% of the milk supply, over 400 agricultural commodities that we grow, $61 billion at the farm gate. It's imperative, I think, given the current economic conditions we're facing with input costs and the cost of what farmers and ranchers and dairymen are getting for their products, that it's not making it. It's not making it these days across the country. And we know that specialty crops are so critical to good nutrition. Robust congressional oversight in the area of specialty crop insurance is necessary. The recent Farm Bridge Assistance Program announced this week by the administration, $12 billion, of which only $11 billion is going to row crops, $1 billion to specialty crops. I don't get it. This is deja vu all over again, as Yogi Bear once said. We went through this in the first Trump administration, where we were acknowledging that tariffs had a negative impact on the farm gate economy, and there was an effort for the administration then to provide $28 billion out of the Commodity Credit Corporation to try to put in a safety net. Once again, we see specialty crops being left out. What? I don't get it. $40 billion for Argentina? $12 billion for American agriculture? Somebody's got their priorities, I think, woefully in the wrong place. I've always said that tariffs don't win trade wars, and I think the actions of this administration prove that. The fact of the matter is that we need to deal with the issues with our longstanding trading partners and allies. I've consistently led the charge for market access program, foreign market development programs, and peace programs, USAID, that frankly I think address the issues of nutrition, not only for the people in our country, but around the world. Our farmers, ranchers, and dairymen want to provide their neighbors and communities food on their dinner table. They don't want to cut them off. The not-so-beautiful bill took food assistance away from nearly 5 million Californians. 5 million Californians. In my district alone, almost 30% of the households rely on SNAP. 67,000 out of 237,000 homes. These homes include 60% of them with a child, 34% with an elderly person, 46% include someone living on a disability. We must ensure that we strengthen and improve these programs, not weaken them. And the examples that was used in the cutoff that took place earlier this year is a separation of the nutrition programs from the commodity other titles, and I fear on my fourth Farm Bill reauthorization that we will never be able to put the toothpaste back in that tube as a result of the separation of nutrition from the other title programs. Let me just talk about some other areas that I'm concerned about. Conservation programs are key to reducing fire risks. We need to be bolstering our efforts there. Conserving our Waste Sustainability Act is another area. Headwaters protection, improvement, and flexibility. Each of these bills would strengthen the programs. The Chairman, I don't know where you continue to get your sense of enthusiasm. I appreciate that. And if we can come together to deal with some of these issues next year, God bless all of us. We need to do it. Let me close by saying the following. This reorganization of the United States Department of Agriculture has been going on for 6 months. The reductions and the separation into 4 hubs, I don't understand. We have not had the Secretary of Agriculture testify before the committee to justify the reorganization plan. We don't know what the appropriate priorities are with the reorganizational plan. I do not get it. This committee needs to provide the proper amount of oversight for reorganization to understand where the Department of Agriculture is going in the future. We've got work to do. We must work together, and I want to thank the chair and the ranking member for giving me the opportunity to give you a little sentiment of my views and the concerns that the people of California have, whether you're on food assistance or whether you're part of the vital, incredible agriculture economy that California represents. Thank you very much.
Well, Mr. Costa, thank you, and thank you for your service on this committee. Anyone have any questions for Mr. Costa? I'll be real specific. What I'm asking for members are questions for him to answer versus long statements. Anyone over here?
Thank you.
Go
Thank
ahead,
you.
Ms. Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Representative Costa, if you could touch a little bit more on how the ranchers in your district if they have expressed the concerns around the Argentina bailout as opposed to this new pool of money that's supposed to assist them?
Well, the expressions range from outrage to being mystified to frustration, because the input costs have continued to rise as a result of inflation. And as I told President Obama a number of years ago, farmers and ranchers, dairymen, they're price takers, not price makers. You grow your commodity, your product, or if you have a dairy, it's 365 days a year, and you put all this investment in it, but at the end of the year, you get paid for whatever the market prices are. And so they see their costs increasing, but yet what they're getting for their product, their commodity, not increasing. And the tariff war is a real critical part of that. $40 billion for Argentina, $12 billion for American agriculture. They don't get it, neither do I.
Thank you. And as we talk about those input costs, I too have had the opportunity to visit some farmers across the country in Michigan, Illinois, of course, Ohio, where I represent. And the sentiment that has been shared with me is that I will give the administration a little bit of credit, because we have been so delayed with getting a farm bill over the finish line for this $12 billion, but it just does not seem to meet the moment. And the parameters that have been established, capping it at $150,000, will not help some of the most impacted farmers, cattle ranchers and dairymen, as I see it. Would you agree with that assessment?
No, I would agree with that assessment, and I must say this is a difficult time in farm country, whether you're in any region of the country or out in California, because of inflation, because of the input costs, and because, again, farmers are price takers, not price makers. And clearly this tariff war has impacted their ability to access those markets. And guess what? The other countries have the ability to retaliate, and they do. Canada. You know, we have the trade agreement with Canada and Mexico. 40% of California wines have gone to California. By the way, they're good wines. But you can hardly find a bottle of California wine in a supermarket or in a restaurant in Canada today. Why? Because they're acting in response to this tariff war. And they have other markets where they can access those products and enjoy them. And in some cases, we never regained those markets. So it's of great concern. And that's but one example.
Thank you. And as I close, I think that you mentioned the tariffs being part of the major problem as it relates to this situation that we're in, which is a self-inflicted, self-induced problem, if you ask me. And the fact that the president is touting that the relief that he is offering the farmers is coming from tariffs, I believe is questionable, because if I understand the resource correctly, the source of these funds are coming from the CCC, not actually the tariffs. And we have industry folks who are in litigation to question the legality of the tariffs and to fight for getting the recuperation of the resources that they had to spend on tariffs in their own companies, Costco,
I think you're
for
correct,
example.
and the administration won't say it, but I'll flat out make a point. The fact that they're reducing some of these tariffs, I think, is an acknowledgement that it's impacting the costs. Why else would they reduce in the last week some of these tariffs and some of these products if in fact it were not impacting the bottom line? And so it's a de facto way of acknowledging that the tariffs are impacting the cost to consumers, and this is their response to try to address it. But, you know, it's not working.